ever get that feeling? Like the whole banking system is, I don't know, working against you.
Oh, absolutely.
Like it's built to keep you stuck, in debt and just reliant on them.
Yeah.
What if we could do things differently? Like, what if there's a
Yeah.
way to build a whole financial system on, I don't know, trust and working together?
Right.
That's what we're looking at today. That idea of like community banking or family banking.
Taking back control,
Yeah.
creating systems that actually, work for the people, not against them.
So many people I talk to, they're just struggling with the way banks are now.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like, I don't know, it's rigged.
It is.
Entrepreneurs, they can't get a loan without jumping through a million hoops.
Right.
People I know who are retired, they're on a fixed income, barely getting by.
Yeah.
And it feels like whole communities are just left behind
Totally.
because they don't fit into these rigid systems.
Yeah, these impersonal systems that are just not working.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where, community and family banks, that concept, it comes in.
Yeah.
Like people coming together, pooling their resources to lend to each other, to save together, to invest,
Right.
building that safety net within our communities.
It's like such a radical idea.
It is.
But in like the best way possible.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
So break it down for me.
Okay.
Why are traditional banks failing so many people?
Right?
Is it just like pure greed? Or is there something, I don't know, deeper going on?
Well, I think it's a mix, right?
Yeah.
I mean, of course, profit is a huge motivator.
Of course, they're businesses.
Exactly. At the end of the day, they want to make money.
Yeah.
But it's also about control, right?
Yeah.
That's really what traditional banks are all about. They want to have that centralized power
Right.
over our finances, They make the rules. They decide who gets access to money.
Yeah.
And let's be real, they often put the needs of, the wealthy and powerful ahead of everyone else's.
It's like designed to keep the rest of us down.
It's dependent on them,
Right.
But how do community banks or family banks, how do they change that?
Well, they shift that power dynamic, right?
Okay.
Instead of relying on these huge impersonal institutions,
Yeah.
we start creating our own systems
Right.
based on our values, on
Yeah.
actually understanding what our communities need.
Got it. Okay. Starting to see the picture now.
Good.
But how does this actually work in practice? Like, paint me a picture.
All right, so imagine this.
Okay.
You've got a group of women in like a rural village.
Okay.
Every week, they all come together, they pool their savings,
Right.
and they use this collective fund to make small loans to each other.
Okay.
Maybe someone needs to start a business, someone needs help with medical expenses,
Right.
or they want to, invest in their children's education.
Yeah.
They decide on the loan terms together, based on trust, on understanding each other's situations.
Wow. That's amazing. It's like this mini economy within the community
Right.
running on like solidarity.
But that's a village, right?
Yeah.
How does this work in like our modern world?
Right.
With all the tech and everything.
Well, technology can actually be a huge asset here.
Really?
Yeah, there are all these apps and platforms now designed to help us manage our money collectively.
Okay.
You can track contributions, manage loans, even do investments as a group.
Huh.
Some groups are even using things like crypto wallets and blockchain technology for extra security and transparency.
That's so cool. It's like taking the best of the tech world
Yeah.
and using it for good, you know,
Totally.
to empower communities.
Exactly.
But I got to be honest.
Yeah,
All this talk about tech and money, it makes me a little nervous.
I get it.
Like, what about folks who aren't, financial experts?
Right.
How do they make sure they're making smart choices?
That's where financial literacy comes in.
Okay.
It's crucial for everyone to, understand the basics of managing their money.
Yeah.
Budgeting, saving, investing, even understanding risk. And the great thing is there are so many resources available
Okay.
to help people learn these skills.
Free resources.
A lot of them are, online in your community. There are workshops.
Cool.
So it's about empowering people, giving them the tools to manage their finances responsibly.
Love that. But let's be real for a sec.
Okay.
We've talked about all the good stuff with community banking,
Mm-hmm.
but there's got to be some downsides, right?
Yeah.
What are some of the challenges that people might run into?
Well, one big one is, keeping up that initial excitement
Okay.
over time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Life happens, priorities change, people might lose sight of that shared vision.
Right.
So it's important to check in regularly, reaffirm the group's goals, and address any issues that come up.
So it's like any relationship.
Exactly.
You got to put in the effort to keep it going.
Mhm.
What about disagreements?
Right.
Like conflict within the group? How do you handle that?
Well, Having a clear process for conflict resolution is super important. That could mean designating a mediator, using a voting system,
Yeah.
maybe even seeking outside help if you need it.
Okay.
The key is to approach conflict constructively.
Right.
Focus on solutions that benefit everyone.
Makes sense. So we've talked a lot about like the how-to of community banking,
Mm-hmm.
but I want to go back to the why.
Okay.
Why is this so important, especially now?
Right.
What makes this movement, this push for community banking so relevant today?
Well, I think it comes down to the fact that we're living in a time of just massive economic inequality.
Yeah.
The gap between the rich and the poor, it's just getting wider and wider.
In traditional banks, they make that worse, don't they?
Exactly. They often contribute to that concentration of wealth.
The cop.
While so many people are struggling just to get by.
So are you saying community banking is a way to like fight back against that?
It is. It's about taking back our power, our financial power,
Right.
and using it to build a fairer, more sustainable world. It's about creating a system where everyone has a chance to thrive.
I love that vision.
Yeah.
It's not just about the money itself.
Yeah.
It's about creating a world where everyone has a real opportunity.
Exactly.
But for someone who's, always been told to trust the big banks, this might all sound a little, I don't know, radical,
Yeah.
maybe even a little scary.
Get it.
What would you say to those folks?
I'd say I understand that hesitation,
Yeah.
We've been conditioned to trust these institutions, but the truth is
Yeah.
they often don't have our best interests in mind.
Right?
Community banking, it's about taking back control, building trust within our own communities, and creating a system that actually reflects our values.
It's about trusting ourselves
Yes,
and each other.
exactly. It's
Yeah.
about recognizing that we have the power to make a change.
Wow. Feeling inspired right now.
Good.
I think we've covered a lot today of the what, the why, the how of this whole community banking thing. But before we wrap up, what's the one thing you want our listeners to take away from this?
Don't wait for the system to change.
Okay.
Be the change.
Yeah.
Start exploring these possibilities yourself.
Of community banking.
Yeah. What could you achieve with that kind of collective power?
It's a powerful question, isn't it?
It is.
Like, what dreams could you make happen? What impact could you have on your community?
Exactly.
Wow.
And remember, this isn't just about money. It's about taking back control, building trust, strengthening those bonds within our communities.
It's about building a future
Yes.
where everyone can thrive.
Exactly. Where financial well-being is a shared reality, not just a privilege for the few.
I love that. It's about building a world where we can all thrive together, supported by a financial system that actually, works for everyone.
Right. A system that's more human-centered,
Yeah.
one that prioritizes cooperation and community.
And shared well-being. I love that. So for our listeners who are like ready to jump in, what are some concrete steps they can take?
Start with conversations.
Okay.
Talk to your friends, your family, your neighbors,
Yeah.
anyone who might be interested in, exploring different ways of managing their finances.
Share what they've learned today.
Exactly. Plant those seeds.
Start building that momentum. Yeah.
And remember, you don't have to start big.
Okay.
Start small. Maybe form a savings group with a few friends or family members.
Okay. Like a mini community bank.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Pool your resources, work towards a common goal.
Cool.
Maybe it's saving for a vacation. Maybe it's investing in a local business.
Right. Or supporting a project in your community.
Exactly.
And as you get more experience, you can explore more complex models, right?
Yeah, maybe a lending circle or even a more formalized community bank.
So many possibilities.
Yeah.
And there's help out there, right?
Oh, absolutely.
For people who want to do this.
Yeah, there are tons of resources online, in your community, organizations that are already doing this work.
Reach out to them.
Exactly. They can offer guidance, support.
And a sense of community.
It's about learning from each other.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
what's the one message you want to leave our listeners with?
The power to create change, it's within each of us. Don't underestimate the impact you can have,
Yeah.
no matter how small it seems.
Right.
Start exploring community and family banking. It's a journey worth taking.
For yourself and for the future, we're all building together.
Exactly.
That's a beautiful message to end on.
Thank you.
A journey worth taking.
It is.
So to our listeners out there, we encourage you to take that first step, no matter how small it is. Start a conversation, join a savings group, look into these alternative financial models.
Yeah.
Be a part of this incredible movement.
That's happening right now.
The future of finance is in our hands.
It is.
Let's build something better together.
Absolutely. Together, we can create a system that works for everyone.
That's a wrap on this deep dive into community and family banking.
Yes, it is.
We hope you found it informative, inspiring,
And empowering.
and empowering.
Yeah.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, keep building that brighter future.
For yourselves and your communities.
See you next time.
See ya. It all starts with having that shared vision,
Okay.
getting together with people you trust.
Yeah.
Could be friends, family, neighbors, whoever.
Mm.
But they got to be aligned on your financial goals. Like, what are you trying to achieve with this?
Right. You're all on the same page.
Exactly.
Got it.
Maybe you want to support local businesses. Maybe it's about investing in, like, renewable energy.
Okay.
Or even just creating that safety net for your community.
Okay.
Whatever it is, you got to be clear about from the start.
Yeah, finding that core group, that's key.
Exactly.
So you've got your crew, what's next?
Then you got to lay down some ground rules, like a constitution for your little financial community.
Okay.
How much is everyone contributing?
Right.
What types of loans are you offering?
Mm-hmm.
What are the interest rates going to be?
Yeah.
How do you handle it if someone defaults?
Right. Got to think about all that stuff.
You got to be clear about it up front. Avoid confusion and conflict down the line.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you've got your group, you've got your rules. Now what?
Right.
How do you actually manage the money?
Well, like we were talking about before, technology can really help streamline things.
Okay.
Keep it transparent.
Right.
There are apps designed specifically for group finances.
Really?
Yeah, you can track contributions, manage loans, even invest together.
Huh, that's cool.
And some groups are even exploring crypto wallets and blockchain
Wow.
for extra security.
Okay.
Makes everything really transparent.
That's pretty awesome. It's like taking that tech and putting it to good use.
Exactly. For the community.
Yeah. But I got to say, all this tech stuff makes me a little nervous, to be honest.
I get it.
Like, what about people who aren't, financial wizards?
Right.
How do they make sure they're not making, bad decisions with their money?
That's why financial literacy is so important.
Oh.
Everyone involved needs to understand the basics.
Yeah.
Budgeting, saving, investing, understanding risk.
Of all that stuff.
Yeah, luckily there are tons of resources out there
Okay.
to help people learn these skills.
Like free resources.
A lot of them are, online. In your community, there are workshops.
Cool.
So it's about empowering people, giving them the knowledge to manage their finances responsibly.
I love that. Okay, but let's be real for a second.
Sure.
We've talked about all the positives of community banking.
Mm-hmm.
There's got to be some challenges, right?
Of course.
What are some things that people might struggle with?
Well, one big one is keeping that initial excitement going.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Over time, right?
Yeah.
Life gets in the way, priorities shift.
Mm-hmm.
People might lose sight of that shared vision.
Right, like any relationship.
Exactly.
Got to keep putting in the work.
Gotta nurture it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about, like, disagreements within the group?
Yeah.
How do you handle those?
Having a clear process for conflict resolution is essential.
Okay.
Maybe you designate a mediator
Right.
or use a voting system.
Oh,
Sometimes you might even need to bring in someone from outside to help.
got it.
But the key is approach those conflicts constructively.
Okay.
Focus on finding solutions that work for everyone.
That makes sense. Okay, so we've talked about the how-to,
Mm-hmm.
but I want to circle back to the why.
Right.
Why is this so important, especially in today's world?
Well, I think a big part of it is we're seeing this massive economic inequality right now.
Yeah, the gap between the rich and the poor is just growing.
It's exploding, and traditional banking systems, they often make it worse.
Right, they contribute to that concentration of wealth.
At the very top, while so many people are struggling.
So community banking, it's a way to push back against that.
It is. It's about reclaiming our financial power
Good.
and using it to create a more just world, a more sustainable world.
A world where everyone has a chance.
Exactly.
I love that.
It's not just about the money itself. It's about opportunity.
For everyone.
Yeah.
But for someone who's always been told, trust the big banks,
Mm-hmm.
this whole thing might sound a little radical.
Yeah, I get it. It's a different way of thinking.
Maybe even a little scary.
It can be, but we've been conditioned to trust these institutions.
Yeah.
And the truth is, they haven't always earned that trust.
Right.
Community banking, it's about taking back control, building trust within our own circle,
Wow.
creating a system that actually aligns with our values.
So it's about trusting ourselves
Yeah,
and trusting each other.
absolutely.
I like
It's
it.
realizing that we have the power to make a change.
Wow, feeling really inspired right now.
That's great.
I think we've covered a lot, the what, the why, the how.
Yeah, we've really dived in.
But before we wrap up, what's the one message you want to leave our listeners with?
Don't wait for someone else to fix the system.
Okay,
Be the change you want to see.
I love that.
Start exploring these possibilities. What could you achieve with this kind of collective power?
Powerful question. What dreams could you make happen? What impact could you have on your community?
It's exciting to think about.
It is.
And remember, this isn't just about money.
Oh,
It's about taking back control, building trust, strengthening those connections within our communities.
it's about building a future where we can all thrive.
Exactly, where financial well-being is something we all share, not just a privilege for a select few.
Yeah, where financial well-being is like a given, not something you have to fight for.
Exactly.
So for folks listening who are like fired up, ready to take action, what are some concrete steps they can take to get started with this whole community banking thing?
Start talking, have conversations with your friends, family, neighbors, whoever you think might be interested.
Okay.
Share what you've learned today. Plant those seeds.
Get the word out.
Yeah, build that momentum.
And you don't have to like jump in head first, right?
No, you can start small.
Okay.
Maybe form a savings group with a few people you trust.
Okay, so like a mini community bank to
Exactly.
get your feet wet, pool your resources, work towards a shared goal.
Right. Maybe you're saving for a vacation or investing in a local business.
Or maybe there's a project in your community you want to support.
Totally. And as you gain experience, you can start exploring more complex models.
Like we talked about before, the lending circles, or even setting up a more formal community bank.
Right. There are so many possibilities.
And there are resources out there, right, to help people along the way.
Oh, absolutely. Tons of resources online, in your community, organizations that are already doing this work.
So reach out, connect with them.
Yeah, tap into that network, learn from others who are already on this path.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one message you want to leave our listeners with?
Remember this. You have the power to create change. Don't underestimate what you can do.
No matter how small it may seem.
Exactly.
Yeah, man.
Explore community and family banking. It's a journey worth taking.
For yourself, for your community.
For the future we're building together.
I love that. A journey worth taking.
It is.
So to all our listeners out there, take that first step, however small it may be. Start a conversation, join a savings group, explore these alternatives.
Yeah, be a part of this movement.
The future of finance is in our hands.
Let's build something better together.
Well said. That's a wrap on this deep dive into community and family banking.
It's been a great conversation.
We hope you found it informative, inspiring, empowering.
And maybe even a little challenging.
Yeah, in a good way.
Definitely.
So until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, keep building that brighter future.
For yourselves, for your communities.
See you next time.
See you later.